Hey everybody, welcome back. I am joined by Chris Conert from Harebrained Schemes.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here, man.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for
We are
having
going to talk about a little game called Necropolis. This is a really interesting looking game. I've heard it described as like a roguelike, Dark Souls kind of type of game. You just described it to me as if Dark Souls and Spelunky had a baby and then that baby tried to murder you.
Yes, over and over again. Yeah, totally.
You've got me very interested in this. Give me a quick rundown of Necropolis and what exactly this is.
So it's we're calling it a 3D action roguelike. So you're going to get the combat of something like a Dark Souls, deeply Dark Souls inspired. We do our own little take on it here and there, but you're also going to get the roguelike element. So you're going to get a procedural game that's different every time, and you're going to get permadeath. So you get one chance. So in a lot of ways, it's almost more hardcore than Dark Souls is.
That's a bold claim, sir. Yeah. Be careful.
Well, like that's just what people are telling us, and you can't lie. The game is meant to kill you.
So we actually have gameplay on the screen here of Necropolis. Can you just kind of explain to me, give me a quick overview, what are we seeing happening here?
Sure, so this is the intro module it's in. This is literally the only static piece of the world that you're going to play from playthrough to playthrough. He's kind of demonstrating there's pockets of secret doors and whatnot. Like, basically, we wanted to take all of the tropes of a dungeon delve and actually kind of be a little bit self-aware about it, right? So what we want to do is kind of make jokes about it. This guy's actually the Brazen Head. He's kind of the caretaker of the Necropolis, which is kind of a giant palace. Yeah, there's some guy on my shirt. So we kind of jokingly refer to him as like a semi-psychotic version of Jarvis from Iron Man, right? So he's in charge of the place, but you're not quite sure if he's there to really help you or not. So he's going to give you tasks like, hey, can you help me clear out the undead on level 3 and that kind of stuff. And so if you do his tasks, he'll give you tokens of favor, and those will actually allow you to sort of progress from playthrough to playthrough. So you'll use those to unlock codexes. Codexes will give you different abilities like super jump and things like that.
Ah, okay. So you're picking up these items that are going to help you get through this procedurally generated dungeon. Are there more long-term progression elements in play here, or is it truly a fresh slate from every get-go?
So it's almost all a fresh slate, but except for those codexes, which will allow you to sort of start with a little bit of an edge, allow you to mix up the gameplay a little bit, take some tactics that you may not have been able to do before. But by and large, it's fresh every single time.
Cool. Yeah, I'm noticing the art style is very kind of simple, but very fluid, well animated, kind of very vibrant, more than I would expect a Dark Souls-ish, like roguelike type of game to be.
Yeah, totally. So I mean, the stylized art style was definitely an approach we wanted to go to from the start. It allows us to kind of explore the space from a little bit more of a whimsical end. You know, it's not quite as dark and as sort of foreboding as Dark Souls can be, especially if you're like spending a lot of time in it.
Yeah.
So it allows us to kind of just mix it up. You got a little sense of the humor, like you can see the description on the items there. We're intentionally vague on stats, but we follow it up with a joke. But really, the philosophy of the game is it's less about the stats and it's more about kind of just playing and experimenting and getting the feel for the game as you go down. Right, so you're not progressing, you're not leveling up per se. You're actually finding new and cool stuff. There's tons of weapons that you can get, like short swords and great hammers and great axes and all things like that. But really, it's about the gameplay itself, kind of using those tools to your advantage. The roguelike nature is so random, so you kind of have to adapt your strategies on the fly. Maybe you don't get that fire sword that you really love until like level 3.
I do love fire swords.
Well, who doesn't love fire swords, right? So. Yeah, so it's really all about kind of managing
sustenance,
your inventory, right? So yeah, so he's eating somewhat bad tactically right there, but he's doing that because he's actually using this power attack here is great for crowd control.
Oh, nice.
But you'll see it kind of drains that stamina bar, which is one of the key kind of design decisions that we had.
I saw that little guy skittering away, but he killed it and something popped out. Was that like a little loot demon?
Yeah. So we've got a couple of levels of enemies here. Some of them we call vermin, right? So. They're kind of fillers, and they give you some stuff for the crafting system that you can use to sort of build more bombs and things like that, but also just like the basics like food that you kind of sustain you throughout your delve. He's looking for, those are scrounge, we call them. They're kind of in charge of cleaning up after all the carnage of all the
oh, so they're the ones that clean up the mess.
Yeah, they clean up the mess, so yeah.
But when you kill them, who cleans up?
That's a good question.
Or there just must be more of them hanging around somewhere.
Yeah, yeah.
So I understand the multiplayer is a pretty important aspect of this game that wasn't always part of the game.
Well, I think it was because we're a small studio, we kind of had to make sure that we could, not bite off more than we could chew. So we definitely wanted to pursue that from the start, but we didn't really commit to it until later in the stage. So we had to, make sure we had the talent in place to make sure that we could do that. And the guy we brought on was a crack star. He just knocked it out. So we're really proud of all that work, and it's phenomenal. It's like a whole other experience in many ways.
How do you make a multiplayer roguelike game? How do you balance that?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of different considerations you got to do. I mean, this is a co-op only, right? So we kind of segment the space of design solutions that we have to work on. Like, we don't have to worry too much about griefing. Like, one of the kind of common threads in design talks was, well, if your friends are going to grief you like that, you should get better friends. But no, so seriously, it is actually kind of a challenge, but we've done our best to kind of make sure that the game scales appropriately. We're not just going to throw tons more dudes at you, but the stats behind the scenes will get scaled and tweaked just a little bit to make sure that you're having fun and everyone's having a good time.
Cool. So is this is the game like endless, or is there an end to it after so many levels?
There is an end to it. There's 8 levels that you can get to, and then kind of a secret level on the bottom there that is the end of the game there. But they get progressively more bigger as you go down. So it's actually a pretty big trek to actually finish this game. Like, I think we're clocking in at around 4 to 6 hours on a single playthrough.
For one playthrough?
For one playthrough.
Wow,
and that's a single life.
That's after all of the practice you have to put in to be able to beat the game.
People ask us how much time is in this game, how much gameplay, and like hours.
Well, you
and
tell
we're like,
me, basically, yeah.
Well, how good are you, right? So like, nobody's going to beat this right out the door. Like, I still struggle to
Challenge
get very
accepted.
far. Yeah, well, hey.
I'll come over, I'll beat it on my first try. I don't think that's true.
Yeah, that would be a first.
Yeah, this game is looking pretty incredible. Is there anything else that you wanted to talk about? Anything else you want to show off about Necropolis before we let you go?
I mean, you got the basics of it. Like, it's a dungeon delve. The humor of it is kind of, it keeps that light tone throughout, so you don't really get kind of bogged down with this sort of oppressive murder fest that it might be otherwise.
Yeah.
Like, it's a beautiful game.
It's a fun murder fest.
It is. It's a fun, especially in multiplayer, because we have friendly fire on in multiplayer
as well.
So
friendly fire. That's the key ingredient.
It's a big, like, mess of swinging swords, and friends are down. So, like we said,
you're gonna ruin
friends are
some
trolling
friendships.
you. Get some better friends.
Yeah. Okay. I get it now. Okay.
Yeah.
You said friendly fire, and I was like, ah.
Yeah. No, it's a blast.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Well, I think that's going to be about it for our segment. Thank you so much for joining us and showing us Necropolis. This game looks awesome. When can we play it?
It's going to be out for PlayStation later this summer.
Later this summer?
Yep.
Awesome. Cool. We're really looking forward to it. Thanks a lot for joining us, man.
Yeah, thank you.
PlayStation